I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine waking up every morning in a house that doesn't belong to you. You make the bed of a man who barely says your name. You scrub his floors. You wash his clothes. You serve his coffee hot and black, just the way he likes it. And every single day, he looks through you like you're made of air. That was my life. For 2 years, I was just the maid. The quiet girl who came in at 6 in the morning and left after dinner. No one asked about my dreams. No one cared that I had once wanted to be a dancer, that I could speak 3 languages, that my heart was filled with poems I never got to write. To them, I was furniture. But here's the thing about being invisible, you see everything. I saw his late night phone calls. I saw the way his eyes would wander when his wife wasn't looking. I saw the cracks in that perfect, beautiful marriage they showed the world. And I stayed silent. Because I needed that job, because my mother was sick, and the bills didn't care about my dignity. Then one night, everything changed. His wife, a tall, cold woman with diamond rings on every finger, packed her bags. I was cleaning the kitchen when I heard them screaming in the living room. Words like affair and divorce and you never loved me. She left at midnight. The door slammed so hard the chandelier shook. I should have felt sorry for him. He was standing in the hallway, silk robe open, face pale as the marble floor. For 1 second he looked small, broken, and then he looked at me, not through me, at me, like I was actually a person. Please don't leave, he said. I can't be alone tonight. I stayed, not because I loved him, because something inside me, something I didn't understand yet, told me to stay. That night, he poured his heart out to me. How lonely he was. How his wife never understood him. How he only wanted someone kind, someone gentle, someone like me. I sat on his couch, still in my maid's apron, and listened. And when he touched my hand, I didn't pull away. Over the next few months, he slowly replaced his wife with me. First, I moved from the servants' quarters to the guest room. Then he asked me to sit with him at dinner. Then he bought me clothes, not as a gift, but as an order. You can't wear that uniform now, he said. You're not the maid now. I was his girlfriend. But here's the part that still haunts me. I never loved him, not even for 1 second. I loved the safety. I loved the warm bed and the hot water that didn't run out. I loved the way people in the grocery store stopped ignoring me. I loved being called ma'am instead of hey, you. But him? He was a broken man who thought he could buy loyalty with silk sheets and expensive perfume. And I let him believe that. Until one day he got down on one knee, a diamond ring bigger than his ex-wife's. Marry me, he said. You saved my life. You're the only one who ever truly saw me. I said yes, but my smile never reached my eyes. Because I had seen him. Yes, I had seen everything, and what I saw would destroy him. So I became his wife. And that, my dear listener, is where my revenge began. The wedding was small. His family didn't approve, a former maid after all, but he didn't care, or so he said. For the first few months, he treated me like a trophy. He showed me off at parties. He bragged about how I was humble, not like those gold-digging socialites. I wore the dresses he picked. I laughed at his jokes. I played the perfect wife. But at night, when the door closed, the mask slipped. He didn't hit me. No. His cruelty was quieter. He would criticize how I buttered his toast. He would mock my accent, the way I pronounced certain words. He would leave his dirty socks on the floor and say, "Aren't you used to cleaning this kind of thing?" I was still the maid, just with a ring on my finger. The breaking point came one evening in October. I had spent hours making his favorite dish, a recipe my mother taught me. He took one bite, pushed the plate away, and said, "This tastes like poor people's food." I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I just looked at him and smiled. And in that moment, I knew exactly what I was going to do. You see, when you're invisible for years, you learn things. Secrets. The kind of secrets people only whisper when they think no one is listening. I knew about his offshore accounts. I knew about the mistress he still called on Tuesday nights. I knew about the deal he made with his business partner, the one that cheated dozens of families out of their retirement savings. I knew because I had found the documents while cleaning his study. I had listened to his phone calls while dusting his bookshelves. I had seen the letters, the bank statements, the photos, and now I was his wife, with legal access to everything. I started small. I opened my own bank account, one he didn't know about. I transferred small amounts of cash every week, 100 here, 200 there. He never noticed. He was too busy looking down on me. Then I made copies of every secret document, every email, every dirty transaction. I hid them in a safety deposit box under my maiden name, the name he had made me feel ashamed of. And the mistress, I didn't expose her. I befriended her. Her name was Chloe. She was young, barely 22. He had told her I was his sick cousin living in the guest house. Poor girl believed him. I met her for coffee one afternoon, accidentally, and within an hour she was crying on my shoulder, telling me how much she loved Marcus and how she wished he would leave his weird cousin. I gave her a little advice. If a man really loves you, he'll prove it. Ask him for something big, a car maybe, or a down payment on an apartment. She did, and he gave it to her, $20,000. From our joint account, I kept every receipt. Meanwhile, I played the perfect wife better than ever. I threw him a surprise birthday party. I invited his business partners, his friends, even his ex-wife's sister. Everyone saw how devoted I was, how I looked at him with those big admiring eyes. He never suspected a thing. Why would he? I was just the maid. But here's the part that hurts to admit. In the middle of my revenge, I almost lost myself. There were nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I had become the monster, if I was just as cruel as him. My mother used to say, "Don't dig two graves when you go for revenge." I called her once, crying. She didn't know the full plan, but she knew I was in pain. "Mija," she said, her voice weak from the chemo. "You don't have to destroy him to be free. You can just leave." But I couldn't. Not yet, because leaving wouldn't give me justice. It would just make me another woman he used and discarded. I wanted him to feel what I felt, small, invisible, betrayed by the person he trusted most. So I waited. I waited until I had enough evidence to sink his reputation, drain his accounts, and leave him with nothing. And then, on a rainy Tuesday morning, I made my move. The morning I left, I made him breakfast. Eggs, toast, fresh orange juice. The same breakfast I had made him 100 times before. He kissed my forehead, a habit, not affection, and said, "I have a big meeting today. Don't bother me until dinner." I smiled. "Of course, darling." He left at 8. By 9, I had packed one small suitcase, not with the designer clothes he bought me. Those weren't mine. I packed my mother's shawl, my old journal, and a photograph of my father, the only man who ever truly loved me. By 10, I had transferred the remaining balance from our joint account to my secret one, $63,000, enough to start over somewhere far away. By 11, I had sent an email to his business partners, his ex-wife, and 3 journalists. Attached were every document, every email, every bank statement, the fraud, the offshore accounts, the mistress he paid for with marital funds. And then I walked out the front door. I didn't slam it. I closed it softly, the way I had done every morning for 2 years when I was just the maid. 3 hours later, my phone exploded. Marcus called me 17 times. I didn't answer. His business partner left a voicemail screaming about ruined lives. Chloe texted me, "What did you do?" I turned off my phone and boarded a bus headed for the coast, a small town my mother used to take me to when I was a child. The news about Marcus spread fast. Within a week, he lost his company. His so-called friends abandoned him. His ex-wife filed a new lawsuit for fraud. And Chloe? She testified against him. Poor girl had no idea she was being used until I sent her the proof. He tried to find me, private investigators, lawyers, even a social media post begging me to come back. But I had vanished, not because I was hiding, because I was finally free. I never went back to that house. I never wore another man's ring. For a long time, I thought revenge would feel like fire, hot, angry, satisfying, but it didn't. It felt cold, like cutting away a rotten piece of yourself and watching it fall to the floor. I don't celebrate what I did, but I don't regret it either. Here's the lesson I learned, and I want you to remember it. When someone treats you like you're invisible, they forget that invisible people see everything. They hear everything. They know where the bodies are buried. Kindness is not weakness. Silence is not consent. And a woman who has been broken and pieced herself back together, she is not looking for revenge. She is looking for justice. I am no longer a maid. I am no longer a wife. I am just a woman who finally decided that she deserved to be seen. And that, my dear listener, is the most dangerous thing in the world. Thank you for listening to my story. If it made you feel something, anger, hope, maybe even a little bit of peace, then I've done my job. Take care of yourself and never let anyone make you feel like furniture again.